everyone, it's Gina from Gina K Designs and welcome to Stamp and Chat Live. I'm so excited to see all of you here from all over the country and all over the world. Wow, tonight is going to be fun and it's going to be a little bit different. I usually have more of a clean and crisp style, and tonight I'm going to be playing with a rustic design and I think you're going to like it. I also think you're going to be able to use this technique with a lot of things you already have in your craft room, and that's always a plus. So welcome everyone. I see you all coming in from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and it is great to see you. Hey, Tom.
Howdy.
How are you doing?
I am better than horrible.
Better than horrible. That's all we can ask for, right?
That's right.
Well, it's great to see you. Did you have a good day?
Had a great day, I think. Overall, yeah, just getting a lot of work done and no major bleeders. So
Well, that's a good day.
yeah.
Because I heard you hanging pictures in your office today.
Oh yeah, did you hear me?
I heard you. I did. I heard you.
Did you hear me crack my thumb?
Well, at least there's no major bleeders, so.
That's right.
All right. Well, somebody said, where's the hat, Tom? Pick a hat. You've got so many hats behind you.
I've got hats, but I've got to put the earbuds on to wear a hat. It doesn't fit over these headphones.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
I'll switch midstream here.
Okay. And your mic's up, right?
Yes.
So everybody can hear you. Okay, yep. Great. All right, everyone. Well, we gave a little bit of a chance for everybody to get here, and it's great to see you. I already see one angry face. Maybe that's for your thumb, Tom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I would love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up and you'd hit the subscribe and notification bell and the subscribe button. This way you'll never miss another live video. If you're coming in from Facebook, welcome. And if you're coming in from Twitch, welcome. So tonight I'm going to be playing with the Stellar Snowflake Stencil. It's hard to see up against my shirt, but that's not any better. But this is one of my favorite stencils. We have a couple of Snowflake stencils in our collection. I love them all. The Snowflake Mandala is gorgeous. This one seems to be one that I gravitate a lot to, and I know a lot of you already have it. Now, if you don't have this one, that's totally fine. If you have something similar in your collection, you can use that, or you don't even have to make a snowflake card. You can use any stencil and just try this technique for the background. It's really, really fun. So I've done something similar to this before, but I added a step to it that I think takes it up to the next level. And when it's all done, it looks very much like you used a plank of wood and then you put it on a laser and then you carved a design into it using a laser or even hand carving too. And it gives such a cool rustic look. And these kinds of rustic cards, the first thing Natalie from our wholesale department said, I showed her the card and she said, ooh, I really like this idea. I showed her like a little trial run that I did. She said, I really like this idea because I'm always looking for more masculine designs. So if you struggle with masculine cards, this is a great way to make some masculine holiday cards, or for people who just like that woodsy kind of feel, that little, rustic kind of cozy kind of feel. All right, so let me show you what we're going to use here. So I have a piece of ivory cardstock. Now I don't use ivory cardstock very much, but in the winter, I really tend to like to pull some of it out. It is a little bit warmer and it just gives a cozier look for this card project. Now I've cut this to about the same size as the stencil. This is a 6x6 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use my Score Buddy. And let me back out just a little bit because I know it's close. And a couple of you have already texted me today and told me that you were watching me on a big screen. My friend Catherine from SCT Magazine said, oh, I'm going to be doing paperwork and watching you on the big screen. So I put another layer of lotion on. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch marks. A lot of times when I do wood graining, I use 1/4 inch marks, but this one we're going to do big planks. So we're going to do them in 1/2 inch increments. And I like to work backwards. So here's my 6 inch mark. I'm going to go down to the 5.5 inch mark and I'm going to score. Then I'm going to go to the 5 inch mark, 4.5. Oop, that went off the rails a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that just so that doesn't show through. You can go back over it with your score tool from the other side and just press it out a little bit. It'll just add to the rustic nature of this. Okay. And then 4 inches, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, and then I'm going to flip it around because it's easier to control for me. So that last line was at the 4.5 inch mark, 5, and 5.5. Okay, so now I have these big, wide planks of wood. Oh yes, we will have music from Tom in just a little bit. He always lets me get started, and then I've got a little Gamsol coming tonight, so that's always a good time for music. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer of Kraft ink on this. I'm going to wood grain it so that it's got just a little bit of rough texture. It's not really texture, but it looks like rough texture. And I'm going to just use the edge of my ink pad, and I'm going to just slide down lightly on this. And that kind of brings out the planks of wood a little bit. You can see the lines then a little bit better. And I'm going to do this a few times just to get some ink on there. It wasn't perfect. You see where I thought I fixed it? It wasn't perfect, but it still looks like wood, like that's a cracked board. So it all works here. So don't throw those things away. Sometimes those are little happy accidents. Okay. I'm just kind of going back and forth and making sure I've got a good amount of this ink on here. Okay. So there, now we've got some Kraft on there. Now I'm going to add a little bit of Turquoise Sea. I always like using some Turquoise Sea in this kind of wood graining because it kind of looks like, well, it looks like wood that's kind of, what is it, like rotten, Tom?
Moldy, rotten.
Yeah, a little bit of mold to it, a little bit of rottenness to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of that in there. Like that. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. Now, here comes the fun part. So I'm going to get my die cutting machine out. And I did this technique. I have a similar technique. I have a video on it from way back when, and I used an embossing folder to do it. And then I did throw a similar technique into a live very early on when we were kind of all freaking out and staying home, and, you know, we didn't know what to do. I was doing like 6 techniques a video, just throwing things together. So this is similar to that, except I'm stepping it up a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to use my clear plates. I'm going to put my clear plates away. So I have my A plate, or my big plate. This is the standard, what is this called? This is the platform, okay? And every die cutting machine can emboss, pretty much. I mean, I don't know of any of the ones that most people have that can't emboss, but it's how to emboss is the trick. So what I'm going to use for this is I'm going to use this rubber mat that came with my Spellbinders platform. It's called the Tan Embossing Mat. I'm going to lay that down. And then this is called the embossing plate, the blue plate. And I'm going to use this on top. So that's all you need when you emboss with the Spellbinders Platinum. Just the main plate at the bottom here, the platform, the embossing pad, and then the embossing plate. Now, what I'm going to do is, instead of using an embossing folder, I'm going to emboss with my stencil. Now, I don't know if a lot of you knew that you could do this, but I found this fascinating when I did it for the first time. And it just opened up my craft room. All of those stencils all of a sudden became embossing folders. It is the coolest thing ever. So no, this isn't textured paper at all. This is just our Gina K Design smooth ivory cardstock. Okay. And yes, you certainly can use ink cubes for this. They're not too small at all. My daughter did a video doing wood graining technique, and she used ink cubes, and she actually did the ink cubes in a line, and they were the perfect size for boards. So totally you can do that. Now, the thing is, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I emboss so that the design is pressed down, not out. And with an embossing folder, you can see that very easily because one side pushes in and the other side, you know, pushes the opposite way, and they come together and the cardstock just takes the shape, and you can flip it over. If you want the design raised, it's one side. If you want the design indented, it's the other side. We want the design indented here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the stencil, let's see here. How am I going to do this? We are going to, I'm going to do this right. So I want the stencil to press into the cardstock. So I'm going to have it this way, right? I'm going to do it this way. My cardstock's going to be upside down and my stencil's going to be on top. Now, you look at this and you would think that the design is going to press outward, but there's nothing here because this is all open space. So this is what's going to press forward. So we have this piece of wood grain cardstock. We're going to turn it upside down onto our mat, and then we're going to lay the stencil on top. All right. Now we're going to put the embossing plate on top of that. Now, depending on how deep you want this impression, you can run it through just like that and you'll get a fairly nice impression. Or you can throw, let me grab a piece of cardstock here. I'm going to take a thin layering weight white piece of cardstock and just throw it on top. That's just going to tighten it up ever so slightly, and it's going to do exactly what I want it to do. And this feels now like an embossing folder going through. And you can just use this piece of cardstock over and over again because you can see you really squished it through there, but that's totally fine. All right, so now it doesn't look like much, but when I turn it over, you can kind of see the design back there. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you don't see much on this side, but this is the side where we're going to make the magic happen. All right. So let me get this out of the way so we can get to the next step. Now I'm going to do some more wood graining, but this time we're going to pick a different color. We're going to go to dark chocolate, and we're going to add wood graining on top of this now. And wait till you see what this does. This is so pretty. Okay, you ready? Here we go. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can really see the magic. Okay. Right after this, I want you to give me a thumbs up on this video. Here we go. Look at this. See what's happening? Oh, my word. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Oh, my gosh. And I'm not pressing the ink pad down into this design. I'm just gliding it over the top. Look how crisp that is. And look at the way it grabs the outlines. Isn't that amazing? I love that. It's so pretty. Now, you could leave it just like that, and you could cut it up and turn it into a card, and that would be just beautiful, right? Just like that. Okay. All right. Now, now we're going to do something fun. I know it's so pretty. I just want to leave it like that because it is just so spectacular. And now, you know, you got to look in your stencils because you have all kinds of cool designs. You have flowers and you have, you know, shapes and patterns and swirls. No, it doesn't have to be a large stencil at all. You can just use any stencil you want, and it just creates this kind of magic. That's right. Isn't it cool? All right, so now I'm going to take a colored pencil here, and I think I'm going to use, what color should I use? There's aquamarine and there's cobalt turquoise. I think I'm going to use the cobalt turquoise for this. Okay, so now very lightly, using the side of the pencil, I'm going to just scribble a little bit of color in here. Okay, you can kind of see what's happening, right? So I'm adding this little bit of shading to turn my snowflake kind of a rustic turquoise. Just the side of the pencil. And if your pencil starts to get like a little weird on one side, just flip it over and just using the side of the pencil, just drag that color back and forth across the snowflake. And that just adds, it doesn't really mess up the rest of it at all. It might get a little bit around the lines, but that's okay. It still looks really cool. Okay. So there we go. That is pretty cool, right? But now let's make this, let's bring this color out a little bit more. So I have a little bit of Gamsol here. And I have a blending stump somewhere. Let me get a thing, and I got to clean this off. I've got some red on here. So I've just got a little bit of sandpaper here. And I'm just kind of, it's got a mix of colors on it. Just filing that color off. Okay. So now this is going to really make the color pop. You could leave it like that if you want. Again, you don't have to put the color on at all. You could have just left it the way it was to begin with. Or you can do the pencil and just leave it all kind of rugged looking like that. All right, so now I'm just going to go in with this blending stump, and I'm just going to bring that color out a little bit. See how that just makes the color pop? Just smoothing that color out. Isn't that so pretty? How glowy that gets? You have to try this. This is so fun. And the browns and the blues kind of mix together and make a little bit of a greenish tone, which again looks so pretty. And I'm just taking it up a notch here, you know, by doing the Gamsol. You certainly do not have to do the Gamsol at all. But I just think it's fun to add the Gamsol, so it just makes everything pop out a little bit more. And it gives Tom a chance to play the guitar, so that's why I love to do the Gamsol.
I'm playing a Gam song.
A Gam song? Oh my goodness. All right. I'm just enjoying the music too. Sometimes when Tom is playing, I forget to talk. See how that's coming up? Isn't that pretty? I can't see your comments, but I think they're good. I'm going with good. I think they're good. I think you're liking this. And of course, I decided to do turquoise because, you know, I love turquoise. But this is such a quick design to do this that I have another one that I can do. And if I can't do a full card, we'll see. We'll see what time it is. I have another sample because I was playing with a couple different colors. So I wanted to make sure this Gamsol worked and it didn't mess up the ink. It does not. It doesn't mess up the ink at all. In fact, our ink works really well with Gamsol. So that's kind of good to know, you know, if you wanted to color with Gamsol and you just wanted to use a different color dye ink, you can. Dye ink is really good for Gamsol. It's good for Copics, not good for watercolor though. You have to use our amalgam ink if you want ink that works with everything. Okay. Tell me how I dry emboss with the Sizzix Big Shot. That's a great question. I used to have a Big Shot, and I know that with the Big Shot, I believe they have like it's almost like a book, the bottom plate, and you have to open up one of the pages of the book and get it out of the way. But all of the instructions should be printed right on that plate on your Big Shot. So I'm really sorry, like I don't know exactly, but I know you can do it because I did it for years when I had my Big Shot. You can do it with a Cuttlebug. Did that for years when I had my Cuttlebug. Those are the only 3 die cutting machines. Well, I had one by Cherry Lynn Designs, but I don't think they make those anymore. But they all work. So you can definitely do it. Whatever you would use for an embossing folder is what you're going to use for this. Okay, so you can see it's still got that woodiness in there. But now you've got this like spectacular design. This is sad to cut this up because it's so pretty. It's almost like you could make these and frame them and hang them up. Oh, I'm right on the Big Shot, Debbie. Thank you. Oh, okay. So you're getting a little bit of advice on the Big Shot in the comments. So check out what some of our wonderful members here are saying. One of our wonderful friends are sharing. All right, let's cut this down and turn this into a quick card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the top, and I'm just not going to trim off the dots up here on the snowflake. So I'm just eyeballing it to get a clean cut at the top. Okay, so now that's clean cut at the top. Now I want to cut this to 5 inches. So if that cuts off the bottom, I'm going to trim a little bit more off the top. So I'm going to do that just a little more off the top because I don't want to cut the bottom of the snowflake off. And I think that's good. All right, so I've got it at 5 inches here. There we go. So the whole snowflake is in there still. But we are going to waste a little bit of the side, but we're not really going to waste it because we can use that on another card for sure. Now, I like the way this edge looks, nice and brown like that. But if you don't like that and you want it to look a little bit cleaner, then go ahead and just trim that little bit off. You can do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way because this is the side I'm going to use for my card. I'm going to turn it this way and cut it at 3 3/4 of an inch. You can use either side. I just picked this side because I like the brown on that edge. Okay. So now this is a 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch panel. You could also cut this with the Master Layouts 1 die set. Linda, turquoise is my boyfriend. I love turquoise. Okay, now this piece can still be used for another card. I mean, that would be a beautiful border down the side of a card or a beautiful, bottom piece or top piece. Maybe you use the 2 ends that come off of 2 of them that you make and do a split design and put a greeting in the middle. So don't throw these away. You can use them. All right, so now I need another piece of cardstock. And again, you could cut this out using the Master Layouts 1 die set. I'm going to cut this, since my card was 3 3/4 inches, I'm going to cut this to 3 7/8 of an inch. I couldn't do it the other way. I didn't have enough space left. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it to 5 1/8 of an inch. So this is ivory cardstock. And I'm choosing to use ivory because all of these lines here are ivory and they're going to just work really nicely together. It's going to give me a nice little layer that way. Okay. All right. Absolutely. You could use this. This would be a gorgeous tag for a gift. Just pop a little circle on here that says to and from, or you can even cut it out with a tag die and just hang it on the gift and, write whatever you want on the back. The back is really pretty too because it's embossed. Okay. So let's get some tape. I'm out of tape. I only have a little bit of tape left. I pulled this out because I was showing somebody how to change tape. So tape is at a premium, but Tom can run all the way across the whole world and get me more tape if I need it. Right, Tom?
You need more?
No, not yet. I might soon, but I'm okay right now. Normally Stephen is here and they listen to my live in the warehouse, which is really funny. And then if I say, I'm all out of that, all of a sudden it magically slides under the door of the studio. They're so good to me.
He can fit anything under the door.
He can. He won't come in, though, because he thinks he's going to get drafted onto the show. Okay, so now I've got that pretty little border there. And I've chosen dark chocolate as the card base for this. Let me get a lighter color cardstock under here so you can see how pretty that looks together. Isn't that just a nice combination? I really like that. Tom will still get the tape for me, even though Turquoise is my boyfriend. So this is just an A2 size card. Now, if you guys have the Master Layouts 8 die set, you can do 5x7 cards. You can use almost that whole snowflake, which is really cool. So this is just an A2. All right. And then let's put a greeting on this. So I thought what would be fun is, I haven't used this incentive set very much. This is the current one. So let's do peace, love, and joy. And we'll do that on this little strip of ivory here. Let me get a block for this. There we go. I do not need a block that big. Sometimes I think if you have like a block that's too big, it's harder to control. I don't know. And with these strip sentiments, I like to lay them down, face down, and then pick them up with the block. That helps me get it straight on the block, but it also doesn't distort the shape of the stamp. When you're messing with it and trying to put it on there, you can kind of get it out of sync. Okay, so I'm going to use dark chocolate since that's what we used on this card, and that's the card base. I'll just stamp that right about there. Okay, that's looking good. So we'll see if we can get one more in. I'll do one more of these just for people who joined us late. Plus, it's fun to see another color. So, and let me get my die cutting machine out again. I'm going to cut this out using Master Layouts 3, one of the flag dies from that. I feel like this one should have the little tails on the end. Let me back up a bit. So, I'm going to have to do this technique again using some of the stencils that aren't a snowflake, because I really would like to see it just as a background. And I hope you guys will try it as a background too. And make sure that you post your cards, if you can, over in our Facebook group. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, come on over and join us. It's a lot of fun over there. It's a really kind group. Everybody's so supportive of stampers of all different skill levels, whether you've been stamping for 20 years or you're just getting into the hobby now. We will help you get more into the hobby. all of the ones that have been stamping for 20 years will be telling you all the fun things that you can do. And all of the new people get a chance to learn and share their work and get lots of love. So everybody gets lots of love there. So I'm just taping this down because I don't want it to move. And then I'm going to cut that out. This is such a nice little... Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you like this method. It's really fun. And it's so easy. Do you see how fast I did that? I mean, seriously. Yes, I know, Lynn. I am an enabler. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to put this down here at the bottom of the card. It would be nice to add something maybe across here. That would be pretty too. But boy, I don't want to take away from the prettiness of the center there. Now, I feel like this card is kind of rustic and maybe isn't conducive to rhinestones or sequins. Although I did look at some of the disco ball sequins, and it's kind of amazing how those sequins take on any color that you put up against it, and they do look pretty on there. So if you want to add some sequins on there, disco ball is a really good choice. And Janelle, who works for us, she's awesome. She suggested even our little snowflake embellishments would be really pretty on the big snowflake. I was going to try that, and then I got caught up with something else in our online, and I didn't get a chance to try it. So that would be a one to try as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this on with some foam tape. And this is the Gina K Designs 1/2 inch foam tape. That's not 1/2 inch. I think it's 1/4 inch. Maybe it's 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, it's 3/8 of an inch. Well, what I usually do is when I'm working with these skinny little greetings, I just cut a piece in half and then I just stick the remaining half on there so it's ready for my next card. And I got lucky this time, so I have one ready to go. All right. So I've been looking down and I haven't seen a lot of comments, but hopefully if there's any questions or anything, you guys will let me know again. Okay, and make sure you leave a comment because I'm giving this card away to somebody tonight for sure. Now let me show you. I was just playing around a little bit earlier and I took this piece and I made this. I'm not sure that I like the wood grain on this side or if I would just like that to be maybe simple, like a piece of Kraft cardstock or just a piece of ivory cardstock. But I used just half of it and I thought it was kind of cute. Maybe give this one to somebody that you really love and somebody that you just kind of like can just get the half of the snowflake. Or you could take the other one and blend them together, you know, and that would be kind of cool too. So, or like I said, do a split design on a big card, like a big square card. You could have the split there, and then you could do a circle greeting in the center, and that would be just stunning, wouldn't it? Yeah. So you get the idea. I'm only kidding. I think this card is love-worthy. All right, so let's do one more just to refresh the technique since we have some time. And I have my little We Are Memories paper cutter here. I'm going to get another piece of ivory and I'm going to cut it down 6 by 6. I wonder if I have my other snowflake in here. I don't know what happened. I thought I had all my snowflakes. I'm going to do a quick look here to see if I have the other one. And if I don't, this is my box of snowflakes all in here. If I don't have the other one, then, oh, I think I just, no. Mandala burst. That would be pretty. But I'd love to do, here it is, Snowflake Mandala. I want to do this one because this is a gorgeous stencil too. It really is. I know, Victoria, it is hard to cut it up, but even though you cut it up, you're keeping most of it here. And remember, we have the big 5 by 7 master layouts, and you can do 6 by 6 square cards. So there's a lot of ways to use it. All right, let's add our lines in here again. And what's really cool about this is, like on this one, I mean, there's not a whole lot of stamping, and I'm not against stamping. It's my life. I love stamping, but every once in a while, I just want to play with techniques. And this is just one of those quick and easy techniques. Okay, so here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to score at every 1/2 inch, going down backwards. And of course, you guys, if you want to try 1/4 inches and have the thinner planks, that would look great too. But I'm doing the 1/2 inches because I feel like it's nice and big and bold. Now I'm going to turn it around and finish the last 2 over here. That's 5 and then 5 1/2. Okay. So once again, we're going to stick with our basic wood graining color scheme. We're going to use the Kraft ink to create this, going down a couple times, nice and easy. You don't have to press too hard. Just get your color on there by just going over it several times. And yeah, you can definitely use ink cubes for this. So I saw that come up earlier. Use ink cubes. It's totally fine. It's nice and smooth and a little burnt on the edges, but we cut those edges out anyway. Cut them off. Okay, so there we go. That's a great background just there. Just like that. That's fun. Okay, now we need to get the die cutting machine. And once again, we're going to go through that quick sandwich if you have this die cutting machine. And if not, just do the embossing sandwich for your die cutting machine. And if you can't find it, just Google it. Like, how do I emboss on a Big Shot? And a lot of times the instructions will just come up right at the top of Google. All right. So now I remember we have to put our mat down first. And then we're going to turn our paper face down. And then we're going to put our Snowflake Mandala on here. There we go. It's a pretty one. These stencils are really fun. All right, and then I'm going to put my embossing plate on top, and then I'm going to add that white piece of cardstock in there again, just to give it a little extra pressure. How pretty is it, though, that you guys can, you know, I mean, how fun is it that you guys can now go through all of your stencils and look at them as embossing folders, too? It's just another fun way to use them. And stencils are just all the craze right now. Everybody loves the stencils. So you can see that pretty design on the back. That is really beautiful. All right. And we'll move this out of the way. I might not get a greeting on this one, but I could do the greeting later and we'll still give it away. Okay. So now we're going to add the brown. Yes, you can use any stencil, Barb. Any stencil. Okay, here we go. Oh, I love how it catches. Do you see how it's catching around the edges and almost making it look like it's outlined? It's just so pretty. That's nice. Okay. Whew. So fun. All right. Now, I want to try let me see, this pencil. This is a shocker, this pencil. This is black raspberry. And I'm going to sharpen it up a little bit. Just in case anybody wants to know, my favorite pencil sharpener is the iPoint Orbit. Comes with a battery. Great for travel. And I also have the electric one that my friend Karen Hightower gave me. Oh, and this is a question I get asked a lot. I use the electric one at home when I'm in one place. I take the battery one with me, or here on set because I don't have a lot of outlets. But people always say, how do you get the stuff out? This just unscrews on the top like that. And then this whole thing comes out. And then you just spill it in your trash can like that. You can put it back on there and screw that back in. That's how easy that is. Really easy. I should have seen that, but okay. So I like this one, and it's on my Things I Love page on our website, if you're looking for it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the black raspberry pencil. So we're going to add color here. Doesn't look like a whole lot going on. But this is a really cool color. It's surprising when you use the Gamsol. This color surprises you. And so I walked these colors around today, around my warehouse, asking people which one they liked better. And they liked them for different things. They thought that the turquoise one was really pretty for winter. And they thought that the black raspberry one was really pretty for Christmas. So I like turquoise for everything. Because it's my boyfriend, apparently. But I know what they meant. And it makes sense. Okay, so that's really pretty, huh? That little hint of burgundy in there, right? Okay, so now let's get this blending stump and watch what happens. This is so cool. I love this color. Okay, here we go. Look at that. It turns like a bright cranberry. So pretty. Isn't that nice? Okay. So Tom, are there any questions that I'm missing? What's nice too is you can go outside the lines with the Gamsol. It doesn't matter because everything else is so dark that you don't have to be real precise. See how fast I'm just blending this? And I'm not blending it well because I want it to look rustic and kind of messy.
Color name again.
The color name of this pencil is Black Raspberry. And the first pencil that I used was Aquamarine. No, it wasn't. I lied. The first pencil I used was Cobalt Turquoise. Now, if you're new to my channel, what I do is after the video, I take pictures of everything, and then I post the pictures in our Facebook group. I post the pictures on YouTube on my community page, which if you just go to my channel, there is a tab that says community, and all the pictures are there, a little description. And then in the description on the video, so you could come back to watch the replay here on YouTube, in the description there, I put things like what ink colors I used, what colored pencil colors I used, if I used a certain die set, what stencils I used, what stamps I used. This way, if you're looking for supply lists or there's something that you saw here that you're like, I need to remember that, you can just head over to my YouTube channel, look in the description. I do it after the video. And the reason I do it after the video, some people ask me, why don't I do it before the video? To be honest, it's because when I do my live videos, I really don't know what I'm going to use. I mean, I have an idea sometimes. Like tonight, I knew I was going to do this, but like I didn't know if I was going to get to this. I didn't know how long it was going to take. And again, a lot of times I'm just winging it. So that's why I do it afterwards. So just give me, an hour or so to get all that information up on the video when it's over. But isn't this pretty? It's just that little bit of pink in there. And burgundy is something. You never heard of Gamsol until you came to my channel? Yeah, Gamsol is such a fun, underused product, I think. It's just makes you look so good when you're coloring, get all that shading in there. And then there's fun things like this that you can do with it too.
Lydia wants to know, can you use an embossing folder for this technique?
Yes. Yes, you can. You can, and if you want to know exactly how to do this with an embossing folder, just go to my channel and search carved wood technique. I have a video on that, and it'll come right up. And I use embossing folders for it. So if you've got lots of embossing folders, you can do that too. What you want to do is you want to use the side of the embossing folder that presses in on the front. With embossing folders, there's two sides. With a stencil, there's really only one way to do it. Well, there's not one way to do it. There's two ways to do it for sure. But, it's an open hole. So you just have to make sure that the paper is face down and the stencil's on top. And I know that's counterintuitive because you would think that if you're pushing something toward the front of the paper that it's going to, put an impression in, it's going to press out. It does, but it's not the design. It's the rest of the stencil. It's the part that there isn't any design that presses out. And of course, you can always go back and watch this again because this live replay will be available. And there's not a lot of chit-chatting on this one as far as wasting time. We got right into it tonight. Although I never think it's a waste of time to say hello to everybody. I hope you guys don't either. Okay, almost done with this one. How are we doing with time? Oh, I've got plenty of time. Look at that. This could have been a 5-minute card video. I'm telling you. If you guys haven't seen, I started a new series on my channel called 5-Minute Cards. I might do a 5-minute card video like this.
Okay, a few questions.
Okay.
Would baby oil work just like the Gamsol?
I don't have luck with baby oil. I know some people do, but I find that it just stays kind of oily on my card. But that being said, a lot of people use baby oil and they have good luck with it. So what I always say is if you have baby oil laying around, give it a try. It's only a piece of cardstock. That's all you're going to lose out of it. Okay, so now let's cut this one down and make a quick card out of it. So we'll do the same thing. We'll cut it at the top here so we don't cut the top of the design off.
Color numbers on those two pencils?
The color numbers, let's see. The color number for Colbalt Tuquoise is PC 105. And the color number for Black Raspberry is PC 1095. All right, I'm cutting this one down to 5 inches. Oh, this is bigger. This is a much bigger one. So we're going to cut a little bit off of the top and the bottom here. Wow, this is a giant design. That's okay.
Terry wants to know, can you use dye? But I'm not sure. She means instead of stencils that you mean?
Oh, can you use dyes to do this? Well, maybe. Yeah, I would think like you could maybe use a dye plate, like a embossing kind of dye plate, something like that. I don't see why not. And again, the thing about this kind of technique is you just got to try. If you've got something that you think might work, just give it a try and always keep in mind that it's only paper. I'm cutting this down to the same exact measurements as the last one. I could have made this a little bigger, but this would be great for the Master Layouts 8 because this is a bigger snowflake pattern, much bigger pattern. Get that laying down onto this piece of ivory. And these can be cut out using the Master Layouts 1 die set. I said that earlier. Now I need a piece of dark chocolate cardstock and I need my jumbo paper cutter. I'm just going to put this up here and I'm going to cut this at the 4 1/4 inch mark. Get that out of here.
When will Tom make another card?
Boy, that sounds like a Tom question.
Mm.
When do you want to make another card,
Rosy
Tom?
question.
It's a what?
Rosy question.
But I mean, that sounds like a Tom answer. You'll have to answer that one. When do you want to come back and make a card? It's harder in this new studio, though, isn't it?
It is a little tricky.
Because we used to have everything right on the countertop by us, and now we've got a big mixing board and stuff over there. So
Getting too fancy here.
getting too fancy. Okay, so this is the one with the Snowflake Mandala. I did the same color one with the Stellar Snowflake. So you can see how that looks with Stellar Snowflake. And then again, here's the one with the turquoise. And then here's that card that I use that little bit of an edge. Of course, this one would be beautiful too to use. So you got to save those extra pieces so that you can use them on other card projects. All right, Tom. Well, what I could do is I could put another greeting. We've got 10 minutes. Let me put another greeting quick on this one or on the mandala one. And then we'll give away these 2 cards tonight, okay? So let me do a quick greeting. Find another little piece of ivory. I'm going to just tear that so we'll do the same greeting, make it simple since I have everything sitting right out here. And then we're going to pick 2 winners for these tonight. So what do you guys think? Do you like this technique? You think it's fun? If you do, make sure you let me know. And what I'd really like to know, what I really want to know is which color do you like better? Do you like the turquoise one or do you like this burgundy pink one? Which one do you like better? which one I like better, but again, that's a problem I have, always liking the same color. Honestly, I have to push myself. Every card I make would be turquoise, and that would be a very boring channel. My two favorite colors are turquoise and rainbow. So it's either just turquoise or it's everything. All right. Okay. Yeah, this was fun. This is so fun, this one. I really can't wait to see what you guys come up with, especially because I know you guys have like background stencils and you have so many fun things in your craft room or in your craft table space. Okay, we'll pop that up with some foam tape, and then we'll have our two cards. Let me get the foam tape, and let me find a pair of scissors that are a little bit older. Remember these kind of scissors? I think these were way back Stampin' Up! Scissors. I have tools from long ago. And then I'm going to cut this right in half. And I'm going to put 1/2 back here and save that for the next strip sentiment that I need. It's kind of a good way to store it.
I wonder how many of these fancy craft scissors have ended up in the husband's shop out in the garage.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
That's a problem.
Sometimes I just say things.
That's a problem. Don't touch my scissors. Okay. So there we go. There's our two finished cards tonight. Woohoo! Oh, they were fun. And of course, you can embellish them, add sequins, add rhinestones, it'd be really pretty on here, pearls. I don't have any pearls, but if you have pearls, I think pearls would be the bomb. All right, Tom, where are you? There you are. There I. Oh, you got the hat. Very good. Gonna serenade us?
All right, it's time. It's time for cards giveaway.
Time to pick a winner. Okay, so let's pick a winner of the first one here. The Stellar Snowflake Turquoise Snowflake card goes to
drum roll. Fanfare. Okay, Lisa Curry.
Yay, Lisa! Congratulations, Lisa. Woohoo!
Lisa Curry gets the turquoise card. And the second card.
Yes, this is you can just call it the pink snowflake card.
The pink snowflake wooden rustic card goes to Ava Johansson.
Woohoo! Ava, congratulations. Ava and Lisa. Ava and Lisa, all you have to do is send an email to info@ginakdesigns.com and let them know which snowflake card you won, and I will get that signed and get it out in the mail to you ASAP. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight's live video. It was great to spend time with you. Tom and I always love Monday nights. It's part of the highlight of our week for sure. We will be back on Wednesday at noon Central Time with another live video. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.